Start. All right. Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to today's webinar organized by HopeHeal with Ayesha in honor of World Mental Health Day. Our session today, titled From Overwhelm to Strength, Practical Tools for Resilience and Calm in Daily Life, is focused on helping us discover simple yet powerful ways to manage stress, set boundaries, and find strength in our everyday lives. It's a pleasure to introduce our speaker tonight, Ms. Vibha Vinodrai, a mindset and leadership coach based in Toronto, Canada. She is the founder of Heal Her Way, a women's wellness and empowerment company dedicated to supporting women in building confidence, resilience, and emotional well-being. With her expertise and compassionate approach, Vibha helps individuals transform feelings of powerlessness into personal strength and self-leadership. Today, she will be sharing practical strategies that we can all use to cultivate calm, resilience, and empowerment in our daily routines. Please, Vibha, you may now begin.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ayesha. You guys can hear me? Yes?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay, amazing. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me here, Ayesha. And I want to acknowledge all of you guys for showing up, to doing the work, to understanding how to be better, to how to manage stress on a Friday evening. So I'm not gonna waste any more time. I'm gonna start right away, and I will share my deck with you guys. So yes, you can see what I'm presenting. And before that, I should have put it on full screen. So I'm gonna do that. Just give me a moment. I hope you guys can see it now.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yes. Okay. And I'm sorry, I'm new to Zoom. I actually use Google Meet. So I can, okay, yes, it's changing. All right. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about something very interesting. It's Mental Health Day, and mental health nowadays is a really big buzzword. Everybody's talking about it. Since COVID, we've seen how our mental health affects our physical bodies, right? Because everything is connected to each other. So today we're going to talk about a couple of things, but one of the big things that I'm going to talk about is embodiment. I'm not sure if you've heard of this word before. It's there on Instagram and everywhere, but I'm going to clarify what embodiment is. And today we're going to talk about how you can take your body along with you on the journey of healing. Because a lot of the times what I see people doing is just staying here in the mind, in the mental space, and not really feeling things in the body. And we're going to talk about why that's really, really important, actually, as one of the pieces that's missing in the Western psychology world and field. And let's get straight into the problem. And I see what's happening today. And the problem is that we prioritize doing over being. So we see that when we go to work, what is generally prioritized is thinking, is your mind, what your mind can do. You got to show us what you can achieve with your mind. Productivity and constant doing. So the world is becoming faster and faster. We have AI kind of even increasing the pace of the way we work. And all the body signals that our body tends to give us, like fatigue, hunger, emotions, they're all ignored. So yeah, sorry guys, if you can please keep yourself on mute so that there's no distraction while I'm speaking. Thank you so much. And then from a young age, we go to school, we go to wherever we go, we are told The mind is more important than the body. Whether you're not feeling well, you are feeling sad, doesn't matter. All of that doesn't matter. Even when you go to school, you're told that doing is more important than being. What you achieve is really important.
किसकी?
Is there a question? No. Okay. Okay. So I want to understand, just from a show of hands, you guys can press on the little Smurf button, the Smurf hand. You can put up the Smurf hand. How many of you have ever pushed through exhaustion because it had to get done, right? Yeah, I've done it. I've done it. I mean, I made this deck in like 2 days, but I did it differently. I didn't really stress about it. So yeah, I see that many people just tend to push themselves because this is what we've been told. And it's good to start becoming aware of things. Awareness is step one. What we're not aware of will control us, will unconsciously control us and stay in the driver's seat. So what prevents us from slowing down? And this is something that I've experienced in myself as well. That slowing down can feel scary. What we constantly hear these things, actually, the fear of missing out. We compare ourselves to others. Oh, look at them. They are working so hard. They're always putting out content. They have a side hustle. They have a 9 to 5 and they take care of their kids. And like, our mind is constantly building things up. When we do these, we think these everyday things are very simple, like comparing yourself to others and FOMO, and constantly having this thought, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. And I'll tell you a little bit about myself because I've been in the corporate world for 12 years and I was in a media agency. I was a strategist, and the media world is really fast because it's very much linked to the digital and tech world. And when I switched my careers to becoming a coach because I wanted to also prioritize motherhood, life slowed down a little bit, and there was just constant thought, I'm not doing enough, because I was comparing this work to the pace that I had in the corporate world, which actually I couldn't even handle. I couldn't even handle that pace, but my body got used to that pace. And then there is just, as things slow down, there's just this thought that you're not doing enough. Also, cultural conditioning from the Asian world, Asian countries, India, Pakistan, and all of these countries, they prioritize doing. I mean, we have all of these sayings, right? Karma kar, phal ki ichha na kar. Like, do the work, forget about the fruits, they will come to you. But what they tend to do is they put us in a state of mind where things have to be hard. If it's hard, only then you will receive the success. If it's not hard, if you got it and it was easy, you can't really receive it. People can't really receive their achievements and success. And that's why they're constantly on the loop, the rat race, because they're like, once I get this, then I will be happy. Once I get that promotion, then I will be happy. Constantly postponing happiness, when the truth and the reality is it's an endless bucket. I mean, I have my sister, she's an architect, and she's really established in her career, and she was in a toxic workplace. She wanted to get to this company that she really liked. And she'd been talking about it for months. I've applied here. They have this role. And she's like, oh, I hope I get in. I hope I get in. And she got in. She got in. She got the job. And then she's like, why don't I feel happy? And I see so many people who come to me. They have all of these achievements and they're still not happy because it's a bottomless bucket. Because we've been told this is what will make you happy. But when you reach that milestone, actually, you're just on to the next, right? And doing often also releases dopamine. So that we have this hormone, it's called dopamine. It's the reward hormone, right? And we like it when we check mark things on the to-do list. I got this done. I had a very productive day, and people say like, I did so much today. I got a lot done, and they're very happy about it. And on the day that they couldn't do much, they are sad because they weren't productive. So it's almost like it's tied to your self-worth. How much I do, and the more I do, the more my worth is, when this couldn't be further from the truth, right? And often what tends to happen is we abandon our body in the process of doing and achieving. And I talked about how we're competing with AI nowadays, which means we need to be faster, we need to do more. And overstimulation is a real thing. I mean, if you look at the way things were 20 years ago, like when our parents were always busy doing things, but they weren't always stimulating their minds. They were doing things with their hands. They were cooking in the kitchen. They were cleaning. They were involved in physical activities. And nowadays, what we have is like, you're cooking, you're listening to podcasts. You're driving, you're listening to audiobooks. We are constantly overstimulating our minds because the mind has become more important than everything else, than your body. And there's this quote here from a psychiatrist. And she says that we can only do one thing at a time. We overload and overstimulate our brains when we try to do too much. Chronic overstimulation can make you feel stressed out, burned out, and unable to cope with stressors. Over time, it will impact your interactions with your family and your ability to do your job, right? So they add up. The overstimulation is not something that only kids and children feel with issues like ADHD. Adults can also feel overstimulated. And you can start to see signs of overstimulation when just there's too much happening, too many lights, too much sound, too much chaos. And then a small thing happens and it tips you over and you're losing it, right? So I want to hear from you guys, right? What's your relationship like with slowing down? How does slowing down feel to you? Does it feel easy? Put one in the chat if it feels easy, and put two in the chat if it feels uncomfortable for you. So one, if it feels easy to you, slowing down comes very naturally to you. And two, if it feels really uncomfortable. Yeah, for Ayesha, it's easy. So you're living what you say. And yeah, some people saying two, some people saying one, and that's great. If you're able to slow down really and become more present and become more aware, yes, that's amazing. But some of the people have said two, and it probably means that you've gotten used to a much more faster pace of life. And a lot of these things, when we do these things, the reflection that I'm asking you guys to do, it's to bring awareness to how you function in your life. Because if you're not aware, then it's the unconscious mind that's going to control your life and your body. So I'm going to talk a lot about safety as well. Safety is deeply connected to embodiment. And growth and learning, they happen on the foundations of safety. If you don't feel safe, we can't really learn, heal, or grow. And this is very true for children, right, who are in schools. And often they don't feel safe, but it doesn't matter. You're still forced to learn, to push through, and that can dysregulate your nervous system, right? So how do you create safety? Safety can be created in communities where you are welcome exactly as you are. You don't need to put on any masks. You don't need to be somebody else. And I'd say that when you're here, you're welcome here as you are. And I'm going to ask you guys to join me in some practices. If you're not up to it, or if this doesn't feel right for you, it is just an invitation. You don't have to. There's no pressure on you to do these things. And at any point, if things start to feel uncomfortable, you can ask me to stop. And we can create safety. Once we feel safety, we can give it to other people. We can share it with other people. But you can also play a role in creating safety. And you can do that by creating boundaries, right? When some things don't feel safe to you, and it can be little things, people joking about your appearance, people joking about your weight. And if possible, you can share that this is not okay, or I don't feel safe, or I don't feel comfortable. When you being vulnerable actually really helps you connect deeply with people. So I wanted to slow down because we're talking about embodiment. I wanted you guys to experience what that is like. And I'm just going to help you guys slow down, drop into your body, and meditate, right? So if you're not driving, and you're not doing anything where your attention is needed, come into a comfortable place, comfortable space. You can either lower your gaze or you can close your eyes, whatever is available to you today. And as we slow down, I want you to start scanning your body in big chunks. It's going from your head to your shoulders, to your lower body, and just seeing where there are places of comfort and where are there places of discomfort. And just scanning with curiosity, like you were a scientist. And then start to take a deep breath in through the nose, inflating your lungs. Exhaling out the mouth with a sigh. We'll do this 2 more times. Taking a deep breath in, following that breath into your lungs, allowing that life force to circulate in the body. Exhale out the mouth. You'll do this 1 more time. Deep breath in through the nose, and this time breathe into your heart space. And allow your attention and your focus to be in your heart space. If you can feel any tingly sensations, the cloth on your chest, just imagining a warm glow, a warm light in your heart space. And imagine a string of light coming out of that space, going higher and higher, growing higher and higher through the scalp, higher, and the light is going higher and higher into deep, dark space, anchoring you, connecting you to the universe, the creator. You're held, you're supported, you're seen, you're safe. Just bask into this feeling. Allow this feeling of safety to spread through the rest of your body. And taking 1 more deep breath in as you come back into your body, into this room. I just want to hear from you how that felt. Maybe 1 word, type 1 word in the chat to just let me know if you feel connected with your body, if you feel calmer. Yeah, Fatima says she feels calmer. Yeah, and sometimes what we don't realize, it takes 5 minutes of connection with yourself, 5 minutes of just breathing and sleepy. Yeah. When you start to relax, when your body starts to really be in a relaxed state, you can yawn, you can start to feel sleepy. All of those are just telling you that you're in a relaxed state of mind and body, and you're in your parasympathetic system. Yes, we just talked about that. And now, why does it matter? Why does it matter that we embody, we go into our body? Because the mind thinks, the body feels. If you try to think your way out of feelings, it's not going to work. Your mind is going to keep looping over and over again, right? So, and this is something I've been meditating for 8 years now under Vipassana meditation technique, which is something that Buddha used to teach 2,600 years ago. And Vipassana has actually preserved that meditation technique. And that's what they teach when people go there. So I've been doing that. And what he found out 2,600 years ago was that emotions are actually a chemical explosion that happens in the body. People think emotions are here, but emotions are in the body. And now Western science has caught up as well, where they know that it's neurotransmitters, chemical that are being released in your body as soon as you start to feel emotions, right? So think about it. What happens when you feel anger? What happens in your body? Your breath goes faster, right? Your palms might get sweaty. You might feel heat in the body. It's happening. The emotion is actually playing out in the body. What happens when you feel sad? Your shoulders might droop. You might have tears coming out, right? Because the emotion takes place in the body. What happens when you feel joy? You feel relaxed. You feel more open. You smile, right? Because the emotion plays out in the body. Now, what happens when you're consistently disconnected from your body? This little explosion that keeps happening over and over again throughout the day, you're not processing those emotions. They are stuck like in a bottle, in a jar. They either remain stuck or they will come out sideways. Trust me, they will find a way to come out either through irritation, frustration, moodiness, sometimes numbness, sometimes going hyper. Some people go numb, some people go hyper. And those are two extremes of being. And if you are at any extreme, you don't want to be there. There's something that is being on the extremes is dysregulation. And you can see that as more your bandwidth becomes smaller and small things trip you over, that's when you know that things are going beyond the line. But it's because we're going at such a fast pace that we don't even know that we are stressed out. And I have an autoimmune condition. 80% of people who suffer from autoimmune conditions are women. And an autoimmune condition is when your body attacks your own body. And I've been there. I've been disconnected from my body, which is how I found this knowledge. I've been so disconnected from my body. There was a time where I was really, really sick. And I would be in the hospital every 2 months. I was losing weight. Nobody had any idea. It was start of actually celiac disease, which I didn't know at the time. My blood pressure was high. I was 28 or 29 at that time. My blood pressure is through the charts, and the doctor is going like, why is your blood pressure not coming out? And I'm like, I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't even feel it. So I don't know what you're talking about. So it's like your heart rate is going that fast, and we are so disconnected from our bodies that we don't even know. And often what tends to happen is if you live in disconnection, you are in survival mode. You're not in thrival mode. You go in survival mode. You go in fight or flight. And that's where you're operating from. And that's why we are constantly in a state of fear, because we're absorbing all the fear from the environment, from all the chaos that's going on in the world right now. The world that we are living in right now is deeply dysregulating. So it takes effort. So if you want to be in thrival mode, it will take consistent daily effort to be there. Now, what's happening when you're disconnected from your body is You're not seeing all of these parts of you. There are so many parts of you. In psychology, also, they call this term, right? There are many versions of you. Maybe there's a part of you that's the rebel, right? Who doesn't like to follow the rules, the traditions, and all of that, but you keep her hidden because the society will not accept it. Or maybe there's the victim who's constantly like, why does all the bad things happen to me? And, blaming the world for everything that's happening to you. And sometimes you are a victim, but staying there, indulging in the victimhood is when it starts to get wrong. We can be victims sometimes of abuse. And it takes sometimes time to process those things. We don't want to stay in that place because then you are in a place of disempowerment. Maybe there's an artist inside of you, but you've been told, no, you got to be a doctor, you got to be an engineer. And so you disconnect from that part of you. And all of these parts of you are like children that you have pushed away, that you cannot give your love to. You cannot accept these parts because society is telling you that these parts of you are bad, right? And that's when we are disconnected. We are constantly in a state of fear. And now you project that fear onto others. Because you've disconnected from the artist inside of you, when somebody else is being an artist, you won't like it. You're going to project your fear. You're like, why are you making any money out of being an artist? Why aren't you a doctor? You could use your skills to be a doctor or be an engineer. And a lot of Asian conditioning is that, right? Achievement is your worth. If you're a doctor, you've achieved worth. If you're an artist, you probably failed at everything. That's why you're an artist, right? So we have all of these conditioning, and mind has made meaning all of these things. And when you project it out, projections are judgments. When you get triggered by a person, right? This person is so, and your mind might say, like, this person is insincere. Their actions don't match their words. And I used to judge. I was in a toxic workplace and I used to judge my management leadership because I was like, they keep saying they will do this, but they never do it. They keep saying they care about our mental health, but they don't care about our mental health. And I was projecting this judgment. I'm judging him for being insincere. And the universe is a mirror. That means I'm judging a part of me that's insincere. You see how projection works? Anytime you judge somebody else, you're judging that part of yourself. There is a part of me that's insincere that doesn't, and sometimes I don't know why that might be. There might be many reasons why I might be insincere, right? I get labeled that I'm insincere, but maybe my boss has pressure from the top and this is what he has been taught. So he's just doing what he has been taught. It's not about making excuses. It's about meeting the part of you that's insincere and accepting and forgiving that part of you. Because when you forgive that part of you, when you're compassionate to that part of you, I understand why you're insincere and it's okay. This is the conditioning that we're all living in. You want to become aware of it. Once you become aware of it, you're free. If you don't identify and if you don't judge that part of you, you're free from that part of you. You can start to become whole. Because when we blame other people, it's disempowering. This person is always treating me like this, right? So we can tend to be in blame. As soon as you say, this person makes me feel annoyed, as soon as you put the blame on somebody else, you've given away your power. So, because now you can't do anything. Can you control another person? Is it possible to control other people in our life? Because everybody keeps saying, if my partner just changed by 20%, if my mom just changed by 20%, if my father just changed by, I would be so happy. But they will never take action on what they are doing and how they are contributing to this relationship that they have created, right? And when I say how to change that, this person is making me feel annoyed. I feel annoyed. Don't say this person is making me feel annoyed. They're just being themselves. When you say I feel annoyed, now you can do something about it. Now you can remove yourself from that room. You can say something, be like, this isn't okay. Or you can find other creative ways to empower yourself, right? You don't have to allow everybody's judgments to come inside of you. But what's truly happening is there's their judgment and then there's your judgment. And your judgment carries more weight than other people's judgment. And I wanted to go into this Maslow's hierarchy of needs because it's so popular. And it puts safety above physiological needs. But what's coming out now is safety is actually the most important need. It's at the root of every desire. Why do we people please? Why do we constantly say yes to other people? Why do we constantly disconnect from parts of ourselves? If your mom says, no, this is not okay, you will disconnect from that part of yourself and you'll be like, okay, tell me what to do. Why? Because you want connection. Connection is what makes you feel safe. And most people think that safety is outside of them. Somebody else should give me safety. My partner should give me safety. My mom and dad should give me. My friends should treat me like this. Should. Anytime there's a should is a judgment. You should do this. It's a judgment. You can give yourself safety. Safety is actually your job. Reparenting yourself is your job. And your feelings are your responsibility. When you got triggered, when your mom said something to you, right? Your mom said something to you. I thought you would be this, but, and I'm coming back to this example of being a doctor and because it's so pervasive in our cultures. And your mom said, I thought you'd be an engineer, but you're not. And that creates a feeling of disempowerment and hurt. That feeling got triggered because it was already there. You were already judging yourself for that, not your mom. If you didn't judge yourself, you wouldn't be triggered by it. You wouldn't be triggered by what your mom just said to you. If you got triggered, there is work to do. There is healing to be done on the inside. So now let's go into what embodiment looks like. How do you use embodiment to create safety? Because trust me, it's the foundational work for everything. Embodiment is actually healing, not on the surface level, but at the cellular level. A lot of psychology and psychotherapists and therapy is about talking. And nothing wrong with talking. Talking works. It brings a lot of awareness. Being witnessed in your vulnerability brings healing in therapy. And therapy works for many people. My sister also has been doing therapy and it works for her amazingly well. I've done therapy. It didn't work well for me. So not if talk therapy will not work for everybody, right? But there are 100 ways to heal yourself nowadays. Hundreds of ways to heal yourself. If talk therapy didn't work for you, go find something else. And embodiment is when whatever healing that you had to do is being received on a cellular level. It's when your actions start matching your words and your values. You start living your values and your principles. For the longest time, when I was in a toxic workplace, I was definitely masked up, because it didn't feel safe to me. Your actions are constantly being judged. But a lot of that judging is happening by yourself. You are judging yourself. And now, after I've done all of this work, I no longer wear masks. I'm exactly who I am, no matter where I go, whether I'm working, whether I'm with my own family, or whether I'm in a corporate space. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be who I am. And that will happen only when you feel safe. And safety is your job. You got to give yourself safety. It's when your body starts to trust yourself to take action on its behalf and it starts feeling safe. That's what starts the growth mindset. Without safety, no growth is going to happen. And how does embodiment work? So there are 3 phases to embodiment. A lot of this work is from this book that is written by Hilary McBride. It's called The Wisdom of Your Body. And she brought in a Western psychological perspective to this method. But I've I've been trained in yoga. I've been trained in Ayurveda. I've been meditating for 8 years. And what I can tell you, every ancient healing methodology involves the body. There's no healing in those traditions that's happening without the body. At this moment, we all roam around as if we are talking heads. That's all that's important. For women, it's even more important to connect with your bodies because so much is happening. They have hormones, they have cycles going on in their bodies as well. So there are 3 phases to this embodiment. One is understanding your body, first becoming aware. Then you start to build a relationship with your body by creating self-care rituals and connection. And as you become whole, then you start leveraging the wisdom of your body because your body has all the wisdom, has all the creativity and resourcefulness that you need. So step 1 is understanding your body through awareness. So this is a more of a high level awareness, right? It's getting intimate with the cues that your body is giving you. And there are many different types of cues. I've split it into 3. There's functional, right? Noticing hunger patterns. Sometimes when you're bored and you start eating. So start to become aware, more alert of what signals your body is giving you. Sleep patterns. People start to fall, like they get sleepy and they're all still on their phone. And then beyond 10, 11 p.m., then you won't get sleep because according to Ayurveda, between 10 to 12 is when you are in this phase of you start to think again. So your mind becomes active between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So if you don't sleep by 11 or so, then you're probably going to be thinking and then you won't sleep until after 2 p.m. Does that happen to anybody? Like you missed your sleep time and then you're awake after that and you can't sleep until like, yeah. Ayesha raised her hand. Yeah, happens to me all the time, right? So start noticing what is your body telling you. Nature calls. Like I've done this as well. I've done this. So I haven't used the washroom because I'm in a meeting. I won't go eat my lunch on time because there's a meeting, you know? So we do all of these things. That's ignoring our body. And as you ignore your body starts shouting louder. And that's when diseases start to manifest themselves. Menstruation issues, right? What phase of your menstruation are you in? Because now we know from Instagram, there's so much content on this. There are 4 phases. I've been cycle syncing since 2018, and I can tell you it's real and it's helped me so much to be aware of what phase am I in and what's happening in my body because I'm in this phase, right? There is emotional. What sensations what does anger look like for you? For some people, it can be very a lot of heat in the body and they just need to move. And for some people, they go numb because they don't know how to feel their anger. They can just move. They can bypass anger and go straight to sadness. And women do that a lot because it isn't safe to feel your anger. We haven't been taught how to process anger. What happens when you get nervous, right? How does nervousness manifest? How does stress manifest in your body? Do you get hungrier? Do you get a tummy upset? Does it come in as body pain, joint pain, tiredness, moodiness? How do these things manifest in your body? Because those are the first signals. If you keep ignoring those signals, it's going to get worse. Your body is going to get louder and louder and louder. So as you're happening and you're noticing, oh, I'm getting irritable, I'm getting frustrated. Okay, I need to take a breath and I need to slow down and just see what's happening. And then you're like, okay, I'm getting stressed because I have a presentation tomorrow. And then you start to notice and take a few deep breaths to tell your body it's okay. And then there are external events. External events affect your body. The weather affects your body. Rain affects your body. I mean, like, why do we have these cultural things? When it starts raining, we start making pakoras or something like that, right? Because it affects our body. Our ancestors knew these things, and that's why they have all of these traditions and cultures and fasting and everything that we do that go with the seasons. And all of that is powerful. Winter makes your skin dry. So you got to take care of these things. These are small things, but they make your body feel safe, right? Now, if you were to choose one thing off the list to build awareness on, what would you do, right? I think the easiest one to start with is how stress manifests in your body, or maybe just noticing menstruation phases or hunger patterns. So you can write down in the comments in the chat, right, about what is it that you want to work on? What is it that you want to start noticing? Humans do much better when they focus on one thing at a time. So if there is something that you want to work on, right, maybe you want to improve your sleep. Sleep is a big one for people nowadays. So you can write down in the chat, what are you committing to become aware of, feeling safer about myself? Yes. That's all of it is really important. Committing and taking action, right? In coaching, that's actually one of the biggest things that differentiates coaching from therapy. It is taking action and being in action, because you only learn when you're in action. The second phase is building a relationship with your body, right? Either you set daily or weekly rituals for connecting with your body. And that could be movement, that could be going out for a walk, that could be connecting with friends. We have these oxytocin receptors around our eyes. And eye contact actually increases your production of oxytocin. Oxytocin is the love hormone, it's the bonding hormone. And as oxytocin increases, the stress hormone goes down. So if you want to create more oxytocin, you got to connect more, whether that's with yourself, whether that's with your families, friends, whoever, right? So connection, sunshine, making time for joy and pleasure. When people come to me for coaching, often the first thing I ask them is, what do you do for joy? What do you do just for yourself? And 90% of the cases, there's silence. Most people do nothing that is solely for themselves, it's for their joy, it's for their pleasure. So you got to do something that is for your personal joy and pleasure, not for everybody else, not for your kids, not for your parents, for yourself. And building a relationship with your body also starts with stopping self-criticism or controlling self-criticism. Often self-criticism is how people motivate themselves, but self-criticism brings with it lots of unintended consequences like anxiety, fear of failure, perfectionism, procrastination. All of this comes from self-criticism. And the conditioning that we have received is keep criticizing yourself. Oh my God, if I don't do well on this exam, I am dead. If I don't do well on this presentation, my boss is going to be so mad at me. It's the end of the world. We keep doing this. And for our body, self-criticism is like it just saw a lion and the lion is going to eat you. It goes in survival mode. It goes in fight or flight. The blood rushes to your extremities, to your hands and your feet, because it's thinking you're about to run. And you're not digesting your food. You're not taking out nutrients from the food. None of that is happening if you're in fight or flight. What is the opposite of self-criticism? Is compassion. When you develop self-compassion, the seat of motivation shifts. Because when you're compassionate with yourself, it's not about what other people are thinking of you. It's not about what your boss is thinking of you. It's about what you think of you. You start prioritizing that from an external point of focus. You go to an internal point of focus. Because from the time we were little, from the time we are born, from the time we were babies, what do? We look outside for help, for support, for validation, for love, everything. And we never turn our gaze inward. We have no idea what's inside this body, this, like you're a universe unto yourself. Like you are planet Earth and you have no idea what's inside this planet. You never explored who you are and your strengths and your values and your skills and your motivations. So self-compassion, what does that look like? Self-compassion looks like talking to your body is a way that you can do it. Talk to your body. because your body's under the assumption that you've seen a lion every time you're stressed. That's how evolution works. For millions of years, we've been, living outside in the natural world. We didn't have safety like homes and all of that. We lived amongst animals for the longest time. So our body's still tuned to that. Only over the last 200-300 years, we've had safety like this. So what does that look like? Okay, so that might look like placing a hand on your heart, closing your eyes, feeling the beat of your heart, and just understanding how your heart is trying so hard to help you. It's pumping blood for you. It doesn't ask for anything in return. From the moment you take your first breath, your heart works until the day it ends. And just talking to your heart in the sense that I'm sorry, I've ignored you. So far, I haven't prioritized you. And I want to do better. I'm going to start listening more. I'm going to start prioritizing more. And you can say things like, I'm sorry, I've been really stressed about this thing. I haven't eaten well. I haven't slept well. I've not been feeling too good. I've been feeling sad. Talking to yourself and just that can actually help you distance yourself and stop taking things personally, right? Because what tends to happen is anytime somebody says something to us, we believe them. We believe everything that they say. They're like, you are aggressive, you are bossy, you are whatever, right? They'll tell you something and you believe them that that's who you are. That's 100% of you. Okay, maybe I'm bossy, but that's 5% of me. Maybe I'm aggressive. That's another 5% of me. There's 90% of me that's good. You forget that. You forget the other 90%. Now, this is also known as mindset work. It's reframing. When you're under chronic stress, and when you're under chronic stress, you may need support, right? You may need therapy. You may need coaching. You may need all the other kinds of support, and that's okay. Needing support is okay. So I wanted to, actually, we're running a little bit behind time. I'm almost done. So I wanted to do this exercise with you guys. It's known as Brahmari, and it will help you connect with your body. So it's a breathing exercise. So come into a comfortable position again. You can either close your eyes or lower your gaze with the intention to go within. If you want, you can close your ears. Just press this outer thing inside and close your ears. And then take a deep breath in through the nose. Don't close your ears just now. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, you hum. And you can do it one more time with ears closed, and you can try it because you will really hear your breathing. So take a deep breath in and hum as you exhale. And you can do about 5 rounds of this anytime you feel stressed. And what this breathing technique does is it vibrates your vagus nerve. Your vagus nerve is actually one of the most sensitive nerves that you have. It connects your brain to your heart, wraps around your heart, goes over all of your important organs, your kidneys, your lungs, your gut, your stomach, your uterus, and connects till the pelvic floor. And when you hum, it vibrates, releasing negativity, releasing stress. And it's really powerful. I do this often before a big presentations or things like that. And last stage is once you start connecting with your body more often, your body starts speaking to you. This is where instinct comes into play. This is where it becomes easier to set boundaries because now you understand this person doesn't make me feel safe. I'm going to spend less time with them. Or this person is always negative, always talking, always complaining, and you starting to absorbing that complaining, and you don't want it. You spend less time then. These are boundaries that you need to place if you want to feel safer, right? If you want to feel like it takes effort to feel calm. And the more safer you feel, the more you can be your authentic self. And it changes. Your body changes when you feel safe. How do you sit? That will change. How do you talk? How do you stand when you feel safe? And observe, how do you feel when you don't feel safe? You'll be all hunched up, you'll be protective, and you keep your arms like this. When you're calm, you sit very calmly, you're open, your heart is breathing normally. You stand with a relaxed stance, and other people connect with you differently. You project it outside into the universe, this energy. And I'm going to be doing a workshop. I didn't talk a lot about mindset work today, but I'm doing a workshop on Sunday, 12th October at 6:30 p.m. GST. So if you want to know more about mindset work, then come to that workshop. Also, that workshop is for women. So sorry, since I do a lot of work for women empowerment, that workshop is for women. And now I wanted to just do this exercise. And if you want to say it, you can say it in your head. You can write it down in your chat. What are some judgments that you have about your body? Maybe these are some things that you've been told since you were young. And it could be something like, my body is weak, my body is fragile, my body is big, my body is inconvenient. If you have pains and, chronic pain or any other issues or diseases, it somehow makes you feel like you're not whole. Or I wish my body was stronger. I wish my body was different, in whatever way. But when you judge your body, it's important to be aware of these judgments. And what this exercise does, it brings your unconscious thoughts into your conscious mind, because only once they come into your conscious mind can you flip them, can you change them, right? And when you believe these thoughts, when I believe that my body is weak, when I believe my body is fragile, because I was told these things, I was very sick as a child. Up until 12 years, I had so many issues, health issues. So I was often told this. And at some point, your mind starts believing it. And who do you become? Are you going to be more open, curious, excited to try new things? Or are you going to be dejected, closed off, and withdrawn? Am I going to go and try out new sports when this is what my mind believes? Or am I going to be closed off and withdrawn? And all of this reflection that we're doing is to bring awareness to the self, to see what are your patterns, what are your thoughts, and what are your beliefs. Because judgments about your body disconnect you from your body. Acceptance is the medicine. And that is what I teach when I coach people, how to accept, how to change, rewire, and reframe, start to feel safe and heal your body. Because here's the thing, right? And this is something that Vipassana taught me. And it's true, because thoughts create feelings, feelings create sensations in the body. And sensations create behaviors. When I think my body is weak and fragile, it creates feelings of like sadness, disempowerment. And those sensations lead to certain behaviors. So your thought that you thought is just a thought is really powerful. So if you can plant negative thoughts, you can plant positive thoughts as well. And this is just a quote from Lao Tzu as well. And it talks about how your thoughts become words, your words become actions, your actions become habits. What your habits, they become character. What your character, it becomes your destiny. So it starts with thoughts. Thoughts is observing your thoughts is just really, really important. And I wanted to share some of my work as well that I do. I'm a coach and I work 1:1 with people, and I help them realize their full potential. Who are they? If you had completely different thoughts about yourself, if you were to become whole, what would that look like? Who would you become? What would you achieve from that place? How would you contribute to the world? How would you serve the people in your life when you're in a different place? And I've worked with a lot of women already. I coach men as well, but a lot of women come to me because I do women empowerment work. And you can see they make progress very, very quickly. It sometimes takes as little as 4 sessions to change how you perceive yourself. And I have a lot of these testimonials that are on my website, on my Instagram page. And if you'd like to follow me, I'll share my credentials here. And what I want you to take away from this workshop is that to become whole, you do need to take your body on the journey with you. When you take your body, it creates more resilience, more bandwidth to manage the ups and downs of life, because the world is never going to be smooth. There's always been a crisis. There's always a crisis on the outside. But you can still feel calm, in control, because are you going to serve the world from a place of like panic, or are you going to serve the world from a place of calm and groundedness? The world needs more people who are calm, who are grounded, can actually bring more solutions instead of just complaining and seeing problems. And that is why this work is really important. Yeah. And I would love it if you have any questions. I'm sorry, we are out of time. It's 11 or it's 8 for you guys. But if there are any questions, then please, I'd love to take some questions if you have. How can we, so I see something on the chat. How can we shift from self-critical to self-compassion, as you mentioned? So there are many ways, right? It's noticing when criticism comes up, when you start to push yourself. Observe how your mind talks to yourself. Is it like you always do this? You always procrastinate. You always wait until the last minute. Why didn't you work on this sooner? Right? Instead of, and when you start noticing your mind is starting to do that, your mind is starting to push you like, oh my God, do more. Your mind is saying, go take that project, take on that project when you're already feeling overwhelmed and you have FOMO at work and you're like, no, I should be part of that project. I need to prove to my boss by staying late that I work well. Observe those thoughts. Pause and take a deep breath in and ask yourself, is it true? Is it true? And when you get centered, is it true that you need to convince your boss that you're working hard, or are you trying to convince yourself? Often, you should know your boundaries. If I blamed my boss for a really long time. I was like, why doesn't he see my potential? Why isn't he promoting me? He should give me the promotion. He should see my potential. And the whole time I never asked for it. I never asked for the promotion. I never said that I deserve this, and this is why I deserve this. If you don't believe, if you don't see, who should see your potential? You should see your potential, not your boss, not your manager. Yeah, great managers do see, but right now everybody is under the conditioning. They're busy and managers probably have 5 people to manage. They can't really focus on you. So it's your job to see yourself, to see your strengths, present your strengths. And compassion is in how you treat yourself. Compassion is something that we haven't been taught. We haven't been taught at all. When I do compassionate self-forgiveness work in coaching, and that has changed my perspective on everything, compassionate self-forgiveness. People can't do it in the first session. When I say, follow this, I forgive myself for buying into the misunderstanding that working hard is the only way to success. When I do that, and then they can't say it to themselves. They are like, no, it doesn't ring true to me. They just can't accept the compassion. And it takes a little bit of work to be compassionate with yourself. And I would love it. If you want, I can offer gifted sessions to the community so that you can come in a session and see how this work is done. And it's so powerful. And it's so life-changing. It's so liberating. And yeah. If there are any other questions, the next workshop is exclusive, or we could participate as therapists who work with women. It's a very interesting question. And I have been asked this before as well. So the next workshop is actually for women. But if you are interested in understanding more about this work, then I will probably do a workshop then. Follow me on Instagram. I post all of my workshops there. How can we join the next session you just offered? So the next workshop link, it's for free to attend. So if you want, if Ayesha is okay with it, I can drop the link to attend those, sign up for those workshops in the chat. Yeah, she said she's okay. Thumbs up. Okay, so I'm gonna put it there on the WhatsApp group. And then I will also share a link where you can join a 1:1 session with me. If you'd like to just see, understand how this work is done, come in with an intention, come in with what is it that you're struggling with, and we can work on that as well. Yeah.
Okay, so there's one more question in the chat that was seen. It was from Fatima Bilal. So the question asked was, how can we stop self-criticism?
Yeah. Observe it in other people. Observe how you're projecting and criticizing other people. Sometimes not sometimes, all of the times, when you're judging other people, it's how you're talking to yourself, right? My mom was a perfectionist, is a perfectionist, and there was no way to please my mom. I understand now that she was perfectionist and she got that kind of conditioning from her parents. And it was always like, I need 90%. I need 95%. And still, do better, do even better, do even better. It's the sense of never being happy with what you have. It's not receiving true contentment from what you already got. I could have gotten 75% and I could have been like, I did my best in whatever capacity I could do in that moment, because every day looks different for people. Some days you are like, yes, I'm energized, I'm ready to go. I can do an hour in the gym as well and finish my work and everything. All right, that's a good day. But even on the days when you weren't able to go to the gym, you weren't able to finish all of your work, you weren't able to be productive, you accept that part of you. You say, it's okay. It's okay. Today, I didn't feel like I didn't have the energy for it for whatever reason. And there could be a million reasons for it. Maybe you're going through some traumatic experience. Maybe there's stress going on in the family. Maybe work was busy. You had a busy week at work and you were just feeling drained. But if it is a pattern, if you are consistently busy at work and never prioritizing yourself, then I would stop and I would look at how can I change this pattern. And if you're projecting it on other people, when other people tell you, when you are constantly only criticizing other people, right? My mom criticized me and my efforts when I was growing up. And now, as I grew up, I'm doing the same thing to her. And that's what you want to become aware of, how you're criticizing your mom, how you're criticizing your dad. But can you ever say something good about them? If that's what you're constantly doing, then that's what you're doing to yourself. Observe how you're constantly critical, complaining about other people. And then wake up to it, because if you're doing it to other people, you're doing it to yourself. That's how you stop self-criticism. The more compassion you can extend to other people, the more compassionate you will become to yourself. The universe is a mirror. Imagine playing ping pong with the universe. Whatever you're creating here, you're projecting it outside, it will come back to you. If you're creating fear, you're projecting fear outside, it comes back to you. So to stop that cycle is awareness. become aware, wake up to what are your own patterns. How are you contributing to the relationship that you have created with your parents, with your friends, with your boss? You've contributed to it as well by not saying no, by not drawing boundaries. Right? So that's how you stop. Self-criticism is a way ego likes to stay small, right? Your ego likes to stay small. And if you want to learn more about this, I can share some resources. I'm sure you've heard of Eckhart Tolle in his book, A New Earth. A lot of the work that I'm teaching has come from there as well. It's spiritual, but the principles are so clear. They apply to every situation in life, any situation. So that's how I hope that answers your question. Because I understand it's really hard to become aware is hard. It's not easy. Yes, Sana is saying I always reflect about my past self and how much I have changed. And now it gives me positive energy. And I feel so that's one way. That's one way. Celebrating yourself, celebrating how much you have overcome your struggles, celebrating your smallest win. What you focus on will grow. So if you're constantly focusing on negativity and if you're constantly consuming news, that's your power there. Stop it. Stop watching news all the time and just being depressed about the state of the world. I have been there. I've been there. And I can still do that. But it is when you have these tools, when you become aware that you stop, that's where your power is. Your power is in the actions that you take every single day.
That was such a beautiful answer. Okay, so do we have any more questions for Ms. Vibha? You can quickly write it down in the comments.
All right, Ayesha, I just wanted to thank you for allowing me to come here, for sharing this work with people. Honestly, I've been spiritual for a really long time now. I've been meditating and I've been applying those principles in my life. But over the last year, I've been enrolled in this coaching course that is done by Ayesha Nobriga. And she brought in this concept of acceptance of all parts of you, acceptance of the worst, your shadows, the worst parts of you. And she taught me how to do that. And that has changed my life. I would say the person that I am today, 2 years ago, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing today. So it takes a lot of inner work. And that's what shows on the outside to other people. That's what you guys can see. People can see on the outside, wow, this person is so confident, but it took me a lot of work to get to this place. And anybody can do it. This is accessible to anybody. You can even find her. Her name is Ayesha Nobriga. You can look at her work. And yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate being here, being able to serve you guys. And I want you guys to really acknowledge yourself for being here, showing up, and celebrate that. That's how you stop self-criticism. Celebrate every single positive thing that you do. And anytime you do end up doing bad things, or it's not bad, but if you do fall off the wagon, then it's okay. We're humans. You got to understand that we're flawed.
I absolutely agree with you because, like, as for myself, as a personal experience, I had gone through like a really rough mental time in the past. And one of the things that actually helped me was yoga and Pilates. So, it really connects you to the body. And I didn't know that that is what I needed. So, I really thank you as well for joining us, for giving us your time, and for actually, helping us through exercises, whether it's to deep breathings, spreading awareness, especially about acceptance. That is one of the hardest things that we as humans have. It's so hard for us to accept that we have done something. So,
Yeah.
again, thank you so much. And again telling us the importance of creating boundaries, for the importance of coming down into our body and stop thinking for a while, to step back and actually be in tune with yourself. So this was a really beautiful workshop and I really enjoyed it. Thank you for all the participants who have joined and taking out their time as well. And we hope to also see you in the future sessions with Ms. Vibha. And yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ayesha. It was such a pleasure. It was such a pleasure being here. Thank you for asking all the wonderful questions that you did. Thank you for interacting. And yeah, I'd love to see you guys in the workshop as well that I'm doing on Sunday. And I will drop some more details like my website and everything in there so you can learn more about this work. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.